In this cafe in upstate New York, Amanda Sissenstein works as a waitress where she earns $9 per hour. Amanda graduated from college 7 years ago with degrees in music and psychology. But like millions of Americans, she took out student loans to finance her education.
It's a scam and it's a gamble right now because, you go to college, you pay all this money, pay for books, pay for living expenses, end up in all of this debt, and then it's a crapshoot whether you can find a job that's going to pay off your student loans. I had a professional job for 3 years. I could have had a 401k, and then I left it right before the economy melted down, and I've been working in retail jobs. I've got 2 bachelor's degrees and years of professional experience, and I couldn't get a job at a deli.
Amanda lives in the town of New Paltz, which is also where she went to college. It's a state university, but it's far from free. In the last 15 years, tuition prices like student loans have soared. Today, student debt has surpassed credit card debt to the sum of $1 trillion. Rachel Braun graduated here in 2011 with degrees in business and art history. She has 3 part-time jobs, 2 of them in an art supply and health food shop where she earns just above the minimum wage. 2/3 of her salary go to paying her student loan each month.
Well, my mom taught me my entire life, you have to go to college. She dropped out to have my brother and I and to get married. She didn't really have a choice. My brother and I lived off $50 a month for a really long time when I was younger. And it was just awful living like that and seeing my mom struggle like that. So I knew in my head, she taught me, you have to go to college so you can make money and support yourself and your family. And I was obsessed with it. Because I thought, if I go to college, I'll get a great job and I'll make a lot of money so I can pay off all these student loans I'm accruing now. And that just didn't happen at all. They just don't hire you anywhere for anything.
Today, it's estimated that half of America's college graduates are either unemployed or underemployed, but especially they're saddled with debt. The average loans per student is $25,000 upon graduation. For some, it's as high as $150,000. The reason? They're paying for an education which has become a profit-making business. Since 1985, the price of a university education has risen by 600%. Comparing this to other price rises such as healthcare, petrol, and consumer items, the closest one is healthcare, which has risen by 350%. Public universities blame cuts in state funding for their tuition hikes. Some of them cost as much as $30,000 per year. But others argue that universities raise the cost because they know students can get loans, and lots of them, and often with high interest rates. Andrew Ross is a professor at NYU in Manhattan. Originally from Scotland, where education is still free, he's helped launch the Occupy Student Debt campaign. Here he shows us a video where people with student debt burn their loan statements. The aim? To call attention to the almost 6 million people who are defaulting on their debt because they just can't pay. And worse, even if they declare personal bankruptcy, these loans won't be forgiven.
In education, I think one of the most immoral parts of it is that students now have to go into debt in order to labor, which is the essence of indenture. You go into debt in order to labor. And if you're lucky to find a job, then a large part of your income, a large part of your wages go to paying off the debts that were incurred to prepare you for employability in the first place. Basically, the financial industry is stealing a portion of your future as a student.
Today, there are warnings that the student debt crisis is the next subprime bubble waiting to burst. That like with the mortgage lending frenzy before, banks are making inflated and toxic loans to people who can never pay them back. Peter Schiff is a CEO and supporter of the free market. He blames the government and not Wall Street. In the 90s, the Clinton administration introduced the current student loan legislation. The aim to allow everyone the right to university education. For Schiff, the plan backfired.
By guaranteeing loans to students, that enables students to borrow a lot more money than they would otherwise be able to borrow absent these guarantees. So what happens is colleges jack up the prices, the students go to the government for more loan guarantees so they can pay the higher prices, and now the colleges raise prices even more. And it's a never-ending cycle that is perpetuated by the government. See, the real solution is to have affordable college educations, and you get the government out of it. Whatever the government subsidizes, the price is going to go up, whether it's housing, whether it's health care, or education. If you want prices to come down, get the government out, get the free market in.
But is the free market really free anymore? Larry Doyle has his doubts. He worked on Wall Street for 25 years and says it's the incestuous relationship between government and Wall Street that led not only to the subprime crisis but to the student debt bubble. Doyle claims Obama might help more to ease the student debt if re-elected, but he also believes neither he nor Romney wants to bring up the idea of another bailout.
Given the fact that we've got a $16 trillion deficit and the idea of bailing out the student population wouldn't be well received.
It wouldn't be well received.
It would not be well received. You borrowed the money, you took those risks. If you didn't appreciate it, you should have thought about that beforehand. All this said, it's a bit of a racket. Could you say that they took advantage of 18-year-old kids? Without a doubt. Without a doubt they did. No serious background checks, no serious credit checks. Take the money. We're going to and why was that? We're selling that loan. They're not retaining that loan. We're selling that loan to Wall Street, and we're just passing the risk along.
Like the victims of the subprime crisis, there's a feeling of injustice, that once again it's the lenders, the banks who got bailed out, while those borrowing money to get a college education were sold out. And while 4 years ago it was hoped a new president could change things, today it's a generation burdened with debt that has lost some of that optimism. Meanwhile, Amanda has decided to use her tip money for what she calls sticking it to the man.
Well, the man is, a metaphor for the system, acknowledging, the patriarchy. Fighting the system, fighting injustice, that sort of thing. So by sticking it to the man, I'm saying, you know what, public education should be free. You never should have charged me this money in the first place. You owe us better than that, and I'm not paying off my student loans. One, because I don't think I should have to, and B, I can't. So it's not even so much a choice, but it's by force and by principle that I'm not paying off my student loans.
I pretty much look at it now, and it sounds awful, but I ruined my life by going to college. I really did. I mean, I'm intelligent anyway, and I just regret it every day. I really do. I mean, I guess if I never went to college, I wouldn't have met my boyfriend, and I wouldn't have the assisting job I have now that I love and all that, but it's not worth 80 grand. I probably would have met my boyfriend anyway, somewhere, But it's not worth it.